Hey, how's it going, guys? This is the Guitar Gamer, and I'm bringing you another lap guide here for the. This is going to be the Arca car at Nashville Speedway. So just to start out here, I've got Garage 61 opened up, and you can see that I have the 10th fastest time in these cars at this track out of everybody that uses Garage 61. So another thing is some of these times could have very well, like these two here, maybe this one, these are most likely in the draft. So how can I tell if these aren't in the draft? So my time is 29,419. So if I add a filter here to the session type and I make it qualifying to where I know it's just single cars. See the difference? So this right here, so if mine was on this, if I set that same lap I set in this practice session I'm about to show you now, if I can do it in qualifying, that would make me the third fastest of all the people within Garage 61. Okay, so but some of these in this first page very well could have been single car, but seeing these low threes, these low twos and high twos, it's very unlikely that this is going to be a single car. So with that being said, we're going to close Garage 61, and right now we're on the build-up lap. We're on the setup lap here, coming down the back stretch. So we're going to let this play out. Okay, so you see here, first thing I want to point out is you see how close I am to the wall here. So just to show you, leading into this, very close to the wall. Okay, so what we're going to do here is when you get to this sign here, the Rackley roofing, this is when you're going to start. This is when you're going to start to cut down. Okay, sorry, I'm still figuring out how to use these replay tools here. So when you get to the Rackley roofing here, that's when you're going to see I'm going to start to cut down. See that? See the angle? Cutting down. And as I cut down, just as I get past that Rackley roofing sign, you're going to see I start dragging the brake, and then I start letting off the throttle slowly. It's not just it's not 100 to 0. You kind of want to trail off the throttle a little bit as you're dragging the brake. So down to 0, we're holding about 20% on the brake, still holding it as we get, here to the Cup Series Geico sign. We're still dragging it. Still got about 10-15% brake. Back up to about 25-30. About 20-25. Okay, we're still holding it. And then as soon as I let off of the brake, you can see I'm easing onto the throttle here about the Tennessee Lottery sign. Just a little bit, just giving it a little bit of momentum. Just giving it a little bit of weight transfer. And then I'm up to about 75% here. And once I get to this ally sign, just as I'm passing it, that's when I'm going to get on to 100% throttle. Is you want to make sure that you're cutting the track here. You want to make sure that you're coming down here below the yellow leading into this, because you're going to gain a few hundredths here for sure. Maybe maybe a tenth. If you come out of 3 and 4 with a good enough run, you can cut a tenth by coming down and using your momentum to cut across. Maybe not a tenth, but definitely a few hundredths for sure. Maybe half a tenth. Okay. So we're going to ease back up the track. And then once you get to the Rackley roofing sign here again, I'm not as close to the wall as I could be, but still fairly close. So you're going to start to cut down just as you pass the Rackley's roofing sign, and you're going to start to ease off the throttle. and drag the brake. I probably could have gotten a better time here if I would have held 100% throttle through here and drug the brake and then eased off the throttle. You can see, I mean, you could drive it in a little deeper than I did there for sure. But I'm up to about 25% brake. Still got a little bit of throttle going on. So, like I said, it's really important that you don't go from, your throttle is not going to be an on-off switch. You don't want to go from 100 to 0. You want to try to trail off of it. Okay? So we're still holding a little bit of throttle. Now we're off. And we've got about 15% on the brake. And then we're going to fluctuate 10, 15, maybe even up to 20. And then as you are, well, there's nothing really here to show you. I guess you could say, once you pass this section here, you're going to start to trail off your brake. And you want to hug it down as close to the yellow as you can. And you can see, once again, so yeah, once you pass this here, that's when you're going to ease off the brake and you're going to give it just a little bit of throttle. You just, 30, 40%. And then when you get into this Tennessee lottery sign here, that's when you're going to want to get up to 100. And you're going to, once again, keep it down as close to the yellow as you can. You can see here I've got another foot I probably could have cut down. And you can see I'm kind of easing out of the throttle just a tiny bit there. Probably something that I didn't intentionally do. But at the same time, it probably helped to keep me off the wall here coming out of 1 and 2. So you're going to keep the throttle to 100 as you slowly unload the wheel. I got a little loose here, if I'm remembering correctly on this lap. And you're going to ride it out to the wall. And once again, look here. I mean, you really got to make sure you're using up all this real estate and get as close to the wall as you can. I mean, you couldn't fit much in between here and the wall. I mean, you're talking inches. Here, make sure you're hugging, and then you're going to cut down into Rackley's roofing sign once again. That's when you're going to get your nose down. And I'm still 100% throttle here, and then I'm going to ease off. Probably again, should have drug the brake before I started to ease off the throttle, but that's okay. So then slowly, once again, slowly releasing the throttle, giving it about 25, 15, 20, 25% brake, and then trail off as you're doing, getting more of a late apex here into 3 and 4. As you can see, I'm slowly drifting down to the line, and then you're going to trail off the brake completely about the Tennessee lottery sign, and you're going to slowly start to give it just a little bit of throttle. And this is likely happening because I've got the SimMagic P2000 pedals, and the throttle doesn't have a lot of travel on it, so I'm probably not even realizing how much, how heavy I'm getting onto the throttle here, but it just happened to work out in my favor. But still not 100% on the throttle. We're holding about 75% here, and then once you pass this ally sign here, that's when you're going to want to roll up to 100. And then once again, you're going to drift up to the wall, and you're going to slowly unload your wheel. Okay. Wow, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, up to about 75. And then once you pass here, you're up to 100. And you can see from 75 to 100 was pretty quick there. And then you're going to route it up, slowly unload your wheel. And then the important thing here is once you get up to the wall here, you're going to start, don't do it too sharp. You don't want to come down here and then go straight and then have to take a sharp left down onto the apron. But you want to kind of take a gradual angle towards the apron here. So you try not to get too heavy with the wheel as you're coming across the line because you can scrub off time there. 419. Probably could improve upon that, but that's what we got for now. This was the first day, and you could see it took me 47 laps on this track to get this time. So you can definitely get it. You can get good times on here if you're willing to put in the work. I mean, I started out, 29.8, 29.6, 29.5, and it just slowly started to work its way down. And I spun out a lot. I hit the wall a lot. It's going to take time. So with that being said, we're going to do the cockpit view here, and we're going to let the whole thing play out from the setup lap into the lap itself. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt this, but I just want to point that out here. You can get loose right here, so you have to be careful, but this is kind of on the edge of grip, which is what you want. It's hard to achieve in this car, too. There's a lot of tracks I'm coming across where I'm setting really fast times, and people like Justin Yee helped me a lot, and also I can't think of his name. Garage 53. His name's Tyler. I think it's something Larson. I'll try to link him in the video. Those are two great guys that have helped me a lot in my first 150 races of iRacing. So I'm still fairly new myself. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and you guys have a good one. Okay.